Welcome to Symplicity Conversations, the podcast where business, culture, and community come together to inspire and empower. I'm your host, Catherine Ripley. Each week, we'll explore meaningful conversations about how today's business landscape is shaped by innovation, relationships, and the people behind the progress. From actionable insights and stories from industry leaders to topics like customer experience, fostering strong business relationships, and the role of automation, we've got you covered. Whether you're an entrepreneur navigating growth, a leader focused on building lasting connections, or someone interested in how culture and community drive success, Symplicity Conversations is here to guide you. If you're ready to turn challenges into opportunities and make meaningful strides in your business and community, subscribe now and join the conversation. Get ready to simplify complexity and make an impact with Symplicity Conversations. Welcome to Symplicity Conversations, where we delve into the stories and strategies driving success in business and technology. I'm Catherine Ripley, and today I'm thrilled to introduce Nick Stevenson, our incredible business development representative here at Symplicity. Nick has a fascinating journey to his current role. He's not just a talented salesperson, but also a musician, which brings a real creative and unique perspective to our sales team. Together, we'll discuss Nick's path, which makes our sales approach really stand out, and how his artistic background influences his work here at Symplicity. Let's dive in. But first, we're going to start with our Symplicity Insight. This is our quote that we do each time and hope to impart some amazing knowledge. Today's quote is from Michelle Obama. Success isn't about how much money you make. It's about the difference you make in people's lives. And I think this is really important, Nick. We've had a lot of conversations about, in sales and being able to build up your career and your financial health. And so I think that I've always said to people, money doesn't make you happy, but it does give you some options.
Yeah, definitely. I think that security is really nice. And I think what your intention with the money is what's important.
Yeah, agreed. Be sure to subscribe to Symplicity Conversations to hear from more of the leaders shaping our future. So, Nick, I always say that you are a rock star, literally a rock star. So let's talk a little bit about your journey. How did you start? And, how has it evolved into you landing at Symplicity?
Sure. So when I was a kid, I was addicted to music. I remember my parents got me this little Casio piano that's about yay big, and it had like a little drum machine on it, and you could do all sorts of stuff with it. And there is a photo of me that I'll give you so that we can show. I look like I'm strung out, like a drug addict on this thing, like freaking out. And so once I turned like 5 or so, I asked my parents to get me a guitar. They obliged, and I left it outside in the rain. And so it took me a couple of years to convince them that I was worthy of having another one. So at 8 years old, I got one, and that's when I really started to learn. In fact, that was right around the time Green Day was really big. And the first song I learned was that Good Riddance, the Time of Your Life song. And I got addicted. Yeah, through that, I started writing little ditties here and there and little songs. And then my neighbor ended up getting really into drums, and we started just doing that. And then I started to actually write words down, and it all just kind of evolved from there. And then at 13 years old, I would play little blues sets and bars with an acoustic guitar, a harmonica, and then me singing. And yeah, that then evolved further and started playing a lot of shows with a band and going around the country a little bit. And yeah.
So you wrote songs as well as, so you have original music.
Yep.
As well as, playing other people's songs. But you actually are formally trained. You went to a college out in Boston, right?
Yeah. So I taught myself to play guitar and how to sing, and my technique was maybe less than stellar. Especially I would play 45-minute shows and I would be singing incorrectly. And so by the end of the concert, I could barely talk.
Wow.
And so I decided college wasn't for me at first. After high school, I moved to Nashville, did that for a little bit, and then very short-lived, came back and decided, okay, I'm going to try and go to college for music. And so I was working at a recording studio downtown, and the owner went to Berkeley, and I decided, okay, I'm going to try this. I had no clue what I was doing. I just knew how to work the instrument and all that. So I went to Boston, I auditioned, and ended up getting in.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's funny you said you sang incorrectly for 45 minutes and then couldn't talk. I can guarantee you I sing incorrectly and nobody wants me to sing.
I think most people, if some people are just naturally gifted, I was not one of those people. Definitely School of Hard Knocks on
Yeah,
that. And
yeah.
yeah, I found out real quick when I got to college
How incorrectly you
yeah.
were doing it. So you self-taught yourself on guitar? I mean, you took
Mhm.
lessons from
Nope.
people. You self-taught.
I took lessons for 2 weeks and the guy kept making me watch him and I didn't get to play. So I said, nope, I'm not
No.
doing that. I'm
Oh
too
my gosh.
stubborn.
This is a moment for me, an epiphany, because I'm like, that's what you're doing in sales. Like, yeah, you're watching me do sales meetings or whatever and customer meetings, and you kind of are learning, but this very much you've had to go to those same skills of how in my current role, because you came to Symplicity and I feel very unqualified to hire people because I've over my 18 years here at Symplicity, I've hired a lot of people. Maybe I don't get them in the right roles and they leave or we want them to leave. But there's sometimes you have these moments when you interview somebody, it just feels like, man, I really like this person. I'd like to say that skill of me finding that, but no, it's just happy accidents because when we had our conversation, you were referred to us by one of the service providers that's a really good friend and, a shared friend. And she's like, man, this Nick, he's a really good guy and he wants to get into technology sales. I'm like, well, you need no background because to me, it's about relationships. So I'm like, if you're just willing to put in the hard work and just grind and you'll do well. So when we had our conversation, I got off the phone and went, oh, dang, I really like this guy. Because I'm like, it can be exhausting to hire salespeople and have them, you pay them for a year and then they don't work out. Right. So it's frustrating. But I think that one of the things that we've talked a lot about is you're so likable and you have this really cool, like,
so.
people grow up and go, they want to be a fireman, they want to be a policeman, they want to be a rock star, right? This is just like core to who people are. And you were a rock star. You like toured the company or the country, you toured probably vans that were really messy.
A lot of it was not glamorous. I'm fortunate to have friends who are extremely successful in music, and my experience is not the same as theirs. There's a lot of uncomfortable sleeping in vans, and you smell. The food you eat is
Not
not
gourmet.
really food.
Not
A
gourmet.
lot of it is fast food, and yeah, it's rough, but it's
Yeah.
fun. The experience is really fun. But one of the reasons that you stood out to me, because prior to technology, I was in trucking.
Whoa.
It was a little bit soul sucking, and I felt like I hit my ceiling there. So I really wanted to change. And what impressed me about you was traditionally, I don't like salesmen or saleswomen, salespeople.
I don't either.
Because every time someone tries to sell me something, I'm very aware of it and comes across as a little slimy. And I did a brief stint back in the day as a realtor. And I just noticed a lot of the folks that I interacted with were that. They were
Yeah.
slimy, and you weren't like that. And I think your background is kind of what molded you to what you are now. So watching you do sales and all that is super inspiring to me. And that's how I learn. With guitar, it was YouTube. I was watching, what is that guy doing? And then I just slow down feature and okay, his fingers there.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I get to watch that in real time with you.
Right,
And it
right.
just, it makes the experience all that much better.
I think it's important, the word sales, right? Especially in this day, if we want to buy a car, we know exactly what we want. We know the color, which is how I choose my cars. But we don't need the salesperson to teach us anything about it. We just go in and go, this is what I want.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how our world has evolved with the internet, is that we know we need something, we go solve it, and then we go to the store to buy it. And it's my journey whenever I'm buying something. You walk in, where do I pay? This is the model I want.
I've already
Give it
done
to
my
me.
research.
Yeah, I don't need you to tell me anything. So I think that in our business, there's a lot of people that we have a lot of choices. We have hundreds of service providers. So I always feel like I'm an educator, and that's what I've really tried to impart in you, is that just listen to what they have to say. What pains are they talking about? Can we solve those? And if we are, educate them. Educate them to say, here's some good options. We recently helped a large customer choose a new cloud phone system. And so we didn't say, here you go, here's a quote, this is what you need to do. We went through the heavy lift of here's the top 5. And here's why 3 of these just will not meet your requirements. But we didn't tell them, we just showed them and they said, yeah, I agree with you. I said, all right, well, let's take those 3 off the table. Now it comes down to these 2. Let's do demos, even though at the beginning I suspected where it would land, but I want to educate them and help them get to the point where they can make an informed decision without feeling sold. And that's what I think we try to do with you at your position. Your role as a business development rep is to open the door. Just open the door. We'll go in, talk to them. If it's a good fit, then we'll work with them. And I think that one of the fun things that I told you to do is when you reach out to people and you say, hey, I'd love to get on your calendar, talk to you about technology, leave them a song of the day. Yep. Because that's your language. Music is who you are. I mean, you started at 5 with a guitar, and you left it out in the rain. Took you a few years to get,
not my finest
get on.
moment.
Yeah, there's so many of those that we have. But if you think about, that it's just part of our journey, So I think that we don't want lots of customers. We want customers that appreciate what we bring to the table. And that's really your new role. So there's got to be a lot of connections there where, in music, you had to get people to, here's who we are, here's who my band is, listen.
Yeah. There was a lot of grassroots navigating to do that. I was telling you a story off camera the other day, how I would go to a bar and find somebody who I thought might look interested and then just start talking to them about music. And if they cared, then be like, hey, we're playing a show, And so I think for me, the most trouble I've had is finding that cadence where whenever I get a phone call and I can tell somebody's trying to sell me something, I am almost immediately uninterested. What I like about Symplicity is that we're actually out here to help people. One of the things that made me decide I wanted to work with you, and I'm not saying this because we're on the podcast, and it's Symplicity Conversations, it's a real thing, is even if it doesn't benefit us, we're still going to do that if it benefits the client. And honesty is a really big thing for me. In songs, it's important for me. In life, it's important to me. And in business, it's especially important because people are putting their hard-earned money into us. And how dare we take advantage of that? So I really, really like that core principle of yours. It's like, maybe this provider isn't going to benefit the company, but the relationship is still honest there. And they know that when something goes wrong, they can turn to us. And in turn, it benefits everybody. I'm going to sound a little geeky here, but I love researching things. And so SYM, I always thought of it as like symbiosis. And symbiosis is everybody, we're feeding off of each other and everybody's winning. And simplicity, symbiosis. And I know that probably wasn't it, but that's how I hear it in
Nick,
my head.
That was absolutely, I can't believe you dove into that. That's exactly.
That's how I view it. And so,
happy accident, Nick. Yeah, that wasn't. I like that. I love that.
Big fan. And so, everything good you do, I have to believe comes back to you. And so while this may not benefit us right away, that's not even the intention, but in the long run.
Yeah, I think that's really important for people that are thinking of working with Symplicity, that you may be reaching out to get that appointment, is that we will shut it down if it's not the right fit. They need to see our value and want our value. Somebody that doesn't care about what we do and doesn't see the value, they're not a good fit for us. And we probably shouldn't work together. And we'll be the first ones to say that. So I love that I give you that, I empower that in you to say.
One of the first things you said to me.
Yeah. Because, we work so hard and we always go over and above what we need to do to try to make the customer experience better and easier. I mean, that's at the heart of what we do. We make it easier. That's our mission. We delight the client. That's what we're trying to do. And then we empower each other to be our best selves. That's the mission statement of Symplicity. And I really want, as you are the face of trying to open up new clients, these clients become our friends. We spend time with these people. Some clients we don't get as close to. They're just a relationship and we help them. But some of our bigger projects that we work on, we spend a lot of time with people. We hopefully laugh a lot. And it's important for them to see us as real people. So, as we do reach out and, you'll probably be talking about music with people at some point during the relationship.
Hoping I find another geek.
Yeah. If you could like sit down and play a song. I mean, we see this on these music shows where all of a sudden this brand new person is sitting with one of the stars doing a duet. If you could do a duet with anybody here or no longer here, who would that be?
The first name that comes to mind, I actually think I'm lying when I say it because his music was so inspiring to me as is. I don't think I could hold a candle. I think I just want to preserve that. But I would say Stevie Ray Vaughan. I was brought up on the blues and folk music, and Stevie Ray was a huge, huge, huge inspiration. And in part, he inspired another musician that it's kind of popular to dislike this guy, but John Mayer was a huge guitar influence for me, and he was super influenced by Stevie. So maybe him, but if I'm being totally honest, if I wanted to get like down and dirty and have like a really good night in Mississippi Delta Plains sort of thing, Muddy Waters.
Wow.
I love Muddy Waters. He had the slide guitar going, he had the blues going, he had that crazy raspy deep voice, and then he had the harmonica, and that's something I play as well. So yeah, I think I'd have to say Muddy Waters.
Wow, very cool.
Get nasty with it.
Yeah. Well, Nick, you've been with the company Jeepers. It's been about
May
9
20th.
months. Yeah, it was May 20th. So 9 months-ish now. I love you being on the team. And
Glad you do.
I do. I really do.
I like being here.
And I think that, clients that you're going to reach out and touch people and try to get meetings with them. Hopefully they see the same thing that we do here, that you're just a nice person and you're enjoyable. You're not that smarmy sales guy, and to take a chance and give you that appointment, because if anything, you'll be talking about musicians and who's your favorite and all of that.
Yeah, I think, right now it's a huge learning process. It's figuring out that cadence and how do you make people feel comfortable. And, it doesn't always help that I tend to be nervous too, because I actually want to help people. And sometimes it gets a little anxious.
Well, and there's a lot on your shoulders. You know that we want to bring on some new logos. And so there's, because you're sitting there going, I want to be successful and we want you to be successful. So it's,
we'll get there.
Yeah, we absolutely will.
Trial by fire. That's how I learn.
Yeah.
And
it's the turtle, right? We don't need you to make a ton of appointments. We need you to have the right appointments. So definitely quality over quantity. And I love that, because a lot of sales organizations are just cracking the whip, and you make those phone calls and you get those appointments, even if they're not the right appointments. I would rather have a lot less appointments. Yeah. But that's, again, how we do things at Symplicity is you do the right thing, even when nobody's watching. And I'd rather have you just slow and steady work on, marketing yourself and having people get to know you. When they get to know you and see what we can do for them, then they'll be on board, because man, the opposite of somebody just knocking and saying, let me give you a couple quotes. That's not where we need to be.
And that is seriously, that is such a relief that's not
that's not the way pressure
we operate. So anybody watching, I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
Hit me up.
Yeah.
I'm on LinkedIn. I'm happy to
Definitely
take you out to lunch and discuss your guys' tech ecosystem. I'm learning a lot too. So
yeah, definitely.
We got a lot to offer.
So thank you very much for listening to Symplicity Conversations. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and visit us at thesimplepodcast.com to connect and learn more about this amazing Nick Stevenson and our resident rock stars. So see you next time.
See you guys.